Welcome learners, it's week 4 lecture 19 and we are going to talk about Vijay Tendulkar as a modern Indian dramatist and his selected plays titled Silence, the Court is in Session and Kamla. Vijay Tendulkar is one of the significant dramatists of modern India who brought changes in the representation of gender, especially female characters, through his plays. Most of them are originally written in Marathi and later translated in English. So, let us analyze Vijay Tendulkar's play and see how in modern Indian drama representation of gender takes place. These are the topics which this particular lecture is going to cover, where we are going to talk about the two very famous plays by Vijay Tendulkar. One is The Silence, the Court is in Session, and the other one is Kamla. So, you can see on the slide, the silence, you can see on the slide, the play Silence, the Court is in Session, which was first performed in 1967, originally written in Marathi and translated in English. It's a play where a mock trial takes place by a group of theatre artists. And to kill the time before their upcoming performance, they decide to hold a mock court session. The title of the play gives an impression of a real court proceeding. Here, one of the characters, Sukhatme, stated, "We had some good fun, felt just like fighting a real case," where they made fun of a female character, where they made fun of a female figure. Sukhatme stated, "We had some good fun, felt just like fighting a real case." But they actually made a woman suffer. The protagonist of this play, her name is Leela Benare, who is a school teacher, and she is trying to come out as an independent woman, but she falls a victim to the patriarchal society. Through this mock trial, she was victimized, and we see that when the court pronounced silence itself, a mechanism to silence the natural human drive and the truths under the code of the legal and legitimate, we see that even there is no legal protection, where we see a woman being victimized with this mock session that takes place just for fun by these amateur theatre artists, where unintentionally Leela Benare, she became part of it and she was victimized. Another character in the play, Kashikar, stated, "A sinful canker on the body of society, that's my honest opinion of these grown-up unmarried girls." Why he is calling Benare in such a way? The reason is that she is single, she is independent, she is working as a school teacher, and she is unmarried, and she is independent and working as a school teacher. Not being married is a case, and at the same time they are questioning her choices that she has made in her life. So, how women are represented and how women are viewed by society are being exposed meticulously, intelligently in the play Silence, the Court is in Session, where we see that even if a woman choose a very slight, even if a woman choose a slightly different path, a path which is not given by the society, which is not conditioned by the society, which is not conventional, then the woman comes under a question. She is on trial. The woman comes under question. Here we see Miss Benare does not get the support even of her fellow women. When she is facing the mock trial, being humiliated, she was suffering, she wants to run away, she wants to escape from this trial. We see even the fellow women are not supporting her, not taking her as another woman, but she was othered by those women who feel that they are conventional and they are part of the society, they are conventional and they are living an appropriate life, unlike Miss Benare, who is having questionable life. Miss Benare's personal life overshadows her expertise in her profession of teaching. She wanted to become an independent woman and she chose the profession of teaching, but her personal life overshadowed it when it is exposed and when it is exposed through this trial. It suggests that even through legal protection, it suggests that even legal protection is not there if a woman is independent and unmarried and she is going to give birth to a child. It's a very sensitive issue that Tendulkar has dealt in this play. He stated, at a very sensitive level, violence can be described as a consciously hurting someone, whether it is physical violence or psychological violence. So here in the play, which kind of violence is taking place? It is a psychological violence where a woman is being humiliated. She is being questioned for the choices that she has made. She has been made to understand that what life she is leading is not right, it's not conventional, and she is not socially accepted, which creates a trauma, a havoc in the mind of, it creates a trauma in her life. Trial of a woman in the play. No man is chosen for the mock trial. So when they chose mock trial to entertain themselves, they did not choose any men for the trial, rather a woman was chosen, which is again problematic. Miss Benare's trial is announced in her absence without seeking her approval. It was not taken important that her approval is required before her trial takes place. Her name was announced in her absence and she was chosen for trial deliberately so that she can be humiliated and her choices can be questioned. Miss Benare tries to have agency over her body and life. She struggled to find agency in her life, over her body and in her life by making efforts, but it does not goes well with the society that criticize her publicly and through the mock trial humiliates her, and it doesn't go with the institution also in which she works. One of the characters in the play, Mr. Kashikar, stated, Nana Saheb was talking. It is a sin to be pregnant before marriage. It would be still more immoral to let such a woman teach in such a condition. There is no alternative. This woman must be dismissed. So those who are playing the mock trial, they are questioning Miss Benare and stating that it is illegal, it is illegitimate to give birth to a child before marriage, to be pregnant before marriage, and on this basis she should be on trial. On this basis she should be dismissed. She is to be punished. So that is how they understood the whole situation, where we do not see any sympathy, any understanding, any kind of emotional connection or trying or any effort in the direction of seeing the condition of Miss Benare and how she has been struggling to make her life easier. But society is not ready to understand a woman who is independent, a single, and under these circumstances they are always questionable. They are not accepted by the conventional pattern of the society. Here we see on the screen some of the pictures where here on screen we see the theatrical representation of Tendulkar's play, where in the first picture we see Miss Benare during her trial, where she is sitting, listening to others, having no voice of her own, not being allowed to speak out and to bring out her own position, to clarify what she did. Rather, she is made to listen and suffer. She is questioned. So we can see in the first picture Miss Benare in the middle sitting on the floor, and in another picture we see Miss Benare's attempt to escape the ordeal, but she could not, and she is trapped inside the room. The mock trial became a real one. It converted into a real one where they got a chance, where the members of the troupe got a chance to question her publicly. Moving ahead, we come to the next play, another significant play by Vijay Tendulkar, that is Kamla. This play talks about the trade of flesh. Here, in one of these statements, we find Bandyopadhyay saying, the body of the woman and the institutional body of power come into collision in Tendulkar's play. Kamla is based on a real incident. This play is based on a real incident where a journalist bought a woman from the flesh market. Her name is Kamla. The play is about a journalist exposing flesh trade in a rural area, and it also underlines the involvement of police and politicians in the flesh trade. Here one of the characters, Jai Singh, stated, what is she like? Ekdam Eid ka chand. So this statement is given by the journalist for the woman he bought in order to expose the flesh trade. And it suggests that the body is a commodity which can be bought, which can be sold in a market. How woman's body has been turned into a commodity, and that commodification of the body is being questioned in the play by Tendulkar here in Kamla. Here we see Sarita, who is the wife of the same journalist, who follows his orders without questioning anything in spite of being well educated. So this journalist is already married. His wife is a well educated woman. Her name is Sarita. And without questioning, though she understands her situation, she feels the hierarchy between her husband and her, but she follows his order as the patriarchal structure. Within the patriarchal structure, wife is not allowed to be a decision maker or to pass the order. And this hierarchy has been existing, which Sarita is able to see and understand, but she cannot do anything with it. And the same journalist bought a woman from the flesh market. Her name is Kamala, who is illiterate. Suggests how he has been using woman as a commodity. So this commodification of women is the major theme of this play. In another scene, we find Jai Singh stating, within quote, I bought her for 250 rupees. Even a bullock cost more than that. Ironically, it is very ironical where he stated this. I quote him again, I bought her for 250 rupees. Even a bullock cost more than that, which is suggesting the pathetic condition of women in the society where they are sold out in the market and they are easily available, cheaper than many other things. So it exposes the flesh market, the trade and selling of woman who is a human being sold out in the market as a commodity and being purchased on cheaper rates. Woman being sold out in the market and she is being purchased by a patriarch who has been controlling her, making her suffer and making her life more pathetic. So passing from one hand to the other hand, it makes woman's life more miserable, and this commodification of women and flesh trade are being exposed by Tendulkar in the play Kamala. We see the wife is called a lovely bonded laborer on her face in front of her husband, and neither of them has any reaction to it. So it is also stated, it's not a secret, it is clearly openly stated where a wife is called a laborer. So the position of a woman who is not a wife and being sold out in the market cannot be imagined. She is doubly marginalized. Where a wife is called a bonded laborer on her face and she knows she can't do anything. There is no reaction on her face, as if she knows that this situation cannot be changed and she cannot help her out. Where we see she playing out a role not as a partner but as a laborer, and husband calling her a bonded laborer, exposes the structure of family and the institution of marriage where hierarchy and power dynamics work. We see Sarita realizing her actual place in her husband's life, that she is nothing more than an object which he uses when he wants, as he wants. And she stated, I quote, I was asleep, I was unconscious. Even when I was awake, I saw that the man I thought my partner was the master of a slave. I had no rights at all in this house because I am a slave. So she is saying that I did not know that the man to whom I am getting married is not, she is stating that I did not know that a man to whom I am getting married, being educated, is not my husband, my partner, rather he is the master of a slave. He playing the role of master of a slave who can use and commodify women's body as per his wish. So these ideas are being problematized, which were hardly questioned in the Indian drama before 20th century, where position of women, representation of women, and how they have been realistically treated and how they have been treated in the society, in the real world, are exposed through the play like Kamala by Vijay Tendulkar. Tendulkar has been a very prominent writer to bring out women's voice through his plays, where we see Benare being a very important character in his play Silence the Court is in session, which we just discussed. And here we see Kamala, the title character, who has been commodified in the flesh market, where she understands her situation but she is unable to change it. There have been criticism by feminist scholars of the plays written by Tendulkar that we do not find women empowered in their plays, rather they look like pathetic figure suffering. Certainly he makes a realistic representation of women and how they have been treated in the society that exposes the patriarchal structure of Indian society and the hierarchy existing in the family. But it does not show a way out, a solution to it. The plays by Vijay Tendulkar does not lead to a solution. It doesn't show how these conflicts, these inequalities and the problems existing in the society that he has been talking about can be solved out. So the female characters are in the lead role, but they are not empowered as they are expected to be, where they are able to face the situation and solve their own problems. We don't find such strong female character being represented in his plays. In fact, we also see men being represented as caricatures to some extent in his plays. For example, here in this play, the journalist, the husband, is shown as a dictator, a controller who controls women. But men are presented, but here we need to understand that men are not only privileged in the patriarchal society, but they are also part of the system and they being victimized in the society. They also face pressure living within the conventional society that follows the patriarchal norms. So, showing one as a dictator and the other as completely a victim, a vulnerable, is not a balanced representation, a balanced gender representation we see in his plays. But at the same time, we see a change taking place where the problems that women are facing comes in the front through these plays, which is remarkable, for which Tendulkar is to be appreciated. But at the same time, the changes came, a balanced representation where women are not only voiced but empowered. This kind of representation have been seen in late 20th century's plays towards the 21st century, where the playwrights have shown women leading, empowered and responsible for their situation. They are able to come out of the conflicts, they are able to resolve their problem without a man's help. They are realistically presented as a human being who may make errors, who may make mistakes, but at the same time is capable enough, intelligent enough to take her own decision. So in these ways, we see a gradual change taking place in the landscape of modern Indian theatre, in the plays, and how it started showing the representation of characters, men, women, the other characters, in a more liberated way, where they are treated as a human being and not as caricatures playing out certain role and living. So with this I stop here, and in the coming lecture we will talk about the late 20th century and 21st century playwrights who represented gender in a more emancipated and liberated way. Thank you so much.